Okay, so people often ask me what the difference between, say, like a 2 megapixel image and an 8 megapixel image, 8 megapixel being 4K. Now, for me, I'm a massive advocate of 4K. 4K everything, in my opinion. I just think the higher the resolution, the better the image quality, the better the results if you need that evidential quality video. The good thing with 8 megapixel is for the increase in price, so yes, you may be talking 15-20% increase in overall price compared to a 2 meg, 4 meg image camera, but with the elevated costs, you can actually bring down camera count. So whereas traditionally you may factor in 3, 4, 2 megapixel cameras, or 2 to 3, 4 megapixel cameras, with one 8 megapixel camera, effectively you're doubling the pixel density, and therefore you can actually reduce camera count, reducing installation time, reducing camera count, reducing hard drive storage, and effectively actually reducing costs overall instead of keeping them the same or increasing them by using 2 or 4 megapixel images. So there is a cost positive benefit in going 8 megapixel if you can afford that slight increase, even if it's not possible to reduce the camera count. For instance, the camera location, you're always just going to have one camera in that location. There's no crossover, therefore you're always going to have 4 cameras, whether they're 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel, 8 megapixel, 300 megapixel. Now, there is always going to be that argument as well, and that's absolutely fine. But for that elevated cost increase, the 8 megapixel is definitely worth the uplift. So let me just show you something. So I put it on the big screen here, so let me just transfer you over. Big, massive, there's an 86-inch 4K video wall. So if I show you a 2 megapixel image, so let's take the 2 megapixel PTZ. So you can see 2 megapixel PTZ, still, you know, relatively good image, but you can see it is quite blurry for a 2 megapixel. And when you go for the digital zoom, when you go for the digital zoom function, you can see, look at the truck there. Even if I go close, you can see 2 megapixel, very, very blurry. You've lost all that detail there. 2 megapixel PTZ, you know, overall, because it's got the optical zoom, when you're zoomed out, the phone doesn't do this justice. When you look at it through the phone, through how you're looking at it now, it probably appears a lot better than it does rendered on that 4K video wall, to be honest. But if I go to 4K, let's click off this one. Here we go. Here's an 8 megapixel. So if I make this full screen, so whilst the camera is fitted closer to the vehicles, you can already see, effectively you can see my number plate without even any zoom at all. So 8 megapixel, and I can already start to see this resolution uplift is creating, and you can see our van up there, already a much better quality image. And when I use the digital zoom function, so say I manipulate the image and I maneuver it in, you can actually start to see the detail much better without that resolution breaking up. So you can see W6 DVS, and again, if I move the image around, and bear in mind, this isn't that much further away than the PTZ. So already, in comparison on digital zoom, you can still see W1 DVS. Yeah, so you can still see the benefit retrospectively of using 8 megapixels. So you don't even need a 4K monitor. If you don't have a 4K monitor, just this function alone on playback and that digital zoom function will give you a massive benefit. And you can actually see, so if I choose another one, like this is an 8 megapixel AccuSense camera, you can see there on optical only, no digital zoom, you can see the detail in that image already with no digital zoom. Yes, the camera's fitted closer, so therefore the detail should be enhanced on the truck because it's closer, But I just thought I'd show you the benefit of using the 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel and 8 megapixel. So you get the idea. So if you can afford it, for me, it's a no-brainer. We should always be looking at offering the highest resolution possible to give the best results. CCTV is all about that evidence quality, retrospectively getting something out of it so you can either prosecute, stop, talk to, whatever that outcome may be, health and safety, etc. So for me, it is worth that small price increase. Hope that's helpful. Stay tuned, stay safe.